House in Baltimore. That means Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football. Even the Terps have made it interesting on Saturdays. This guy loves football as much as anyone. He is our longtime friend here as well as a sponsor and supporter of our WNST text service that had lots and lots of little news over the weekend in regard to the Ravens, and certainly will have some Orioles news as well. Dennis Kolatzis joins us now. He'll be here on Thursday from 3 until 5 doing the SSV. That is the Sunday Sports Voice, but it's deceiving because it's heard now on Thursdays from 3 until 5 and getting ready for real football. Dennis, finally, here we go, man. This is the real deal, and I don't think any of us can really talk intelligently about the Ravens' offense or expectations. And I knew that a month ago when Flacco wasn't out there. I mean, I don't know what to say about the offense other than I'll see it when you see it, when John Harbaugh, we'll all see it at the same time for the first time, right?
Yeah, spot on, Nestor. In sharp contrast to the defense, we've seen a defense, first string, second string, third string, free agents, fourth string, it doesn't matter. They've been lights out, only letting up 32 points in 4 preseason games. The defense they're the real deal. We know exactly what we're getting. Same thing with kicking game, special teams, very solid lights out. The offense, we have no idea what it's going to look like, how all these pieces are going to come together. Hopefully they'll heed Terrell Suggs' advice from years ago where he said, when you go on the road, you pack your defense and you pack your running game. If they can pack their defense, pack their running game, don't turn the ball over. They have a shot of coming away with a victory against the Bengals, a longtime nemesis, and our good friend over there, Marvin Lewis, who has had the Ravens' number over space and time. He had just figured out how to play Joe Flacco, how to force him into making mistakes. Got to take that away from Nestor. Got to figure out how to run the ball, and that's a big question. What is this thing going to look like this Sunday?
Well, I mean, I don't think we know what any of this thing's going to look like, right? It really all does start with Flacco, and there is look, Joe Flacco's been in the league 10 years, right? Like, it's not like he can't go out there and be a nice, efficient 22 of 36 with 2 touchdowns, and maybe this team can get 100, 120 yards on the ground. Maybe they can protect him from getting sacked and he doesn't take any big hits. Maybe they can convert some 3rd and 4s. Maybe they can put themselves in 2nd and 6, with every fresh set of down. I don't know. That's certainly possible, right? I mean, it's not like Ronnie Stanley and Marshall Yonda, Jeremy Maclin and Mike Wallace. I mean, they certainly, Ben Watson, they got guys that have done this before. So we're not throwing a bunch of neophytes out there, but we are throwing out there a mishmash of players who just simply, from a unit basis, have not worked together. And that is all, that's why we practice in July and August, right? So that when you get out there in September, you sort of know what you're doing. This would be a very, very shocking development, and I've used the Terps all week, Dennis. No one thought they had 51 in them. No one thought they were going to get down to Texas. No one thought this kid Pigram could do this, right? Especially, in that sort of an environment early in a year on a hot day. But hey, Flacco has done lots of things around here, including winning Super Bowls. I know he gets urinated upon and frowned upon in some ways around here, but dude's won Super Bowls. He's played in Cincinnati before. There's no reason to think he's going to go there and it's going to be too big for him. Now, I am worried when someone comes off the backside and hits him after he delivers a ball and where that ball goes and, whether there is communication between him and the new receiver specifically, as well as the offensive linemen who need to communicate. So this is a little bit of a traffic jam they're going to have on Sunday, and we're all going to cross our fingers and hope that it goes well. But to your point, we all feel like the defense is going to show up. We feel pretty confident about that part of it.
Yeah, the defense is going to show up. Our strength is our weakness, our defensive line. Keeping 8 defensive linemen is almost unheard of, but it goes to show you that they valued all 8 of these players, and they're going to keep them fresh. I guess you're going to rotate them in and out of there. That's a good thing to have fresh linemen in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Going up against the Cincinnati line, offensive line of the suspect, if they can get after him, shut down the running game, and make Andy Dalton one-dimensional, it could be a very long day for them. On the flip side, look, they're missing Vontaze Burfict. They're missing Pac-Man Jones, 2 players who have had a lot of success against the Ravens, the whole league, in fact. But, look, I like the way it sets up. They're only a 3-point favorite. The over-under is around 42, 43 points. It should be a relatively low-scoring game.
Yeah, Vegas isn't in love with the Bengals either, right? I mean, a 3-point home favorite. I mean, on paper, they've got to be considered the better team right now, I would think, right?
On paper. But
maybe I'm too close to
by a very slight margin. Yeah, but by a very slight margin, though. And look, I'm trying to be a little bit away from it. But what does concern me is Marvin Lewis and his penchant for playing Joe real well. As you mentioned, 36 passes. I think that's going to be on the high end. I don't want to see Joe put the ball up 40 or 50 times on the road. It's a recipe for disaster. They have to at least try to run the ball, even if they're unsuccessful the first couple of series. I don't want them to pack it in like they've done the last couple of years and throwing caution to the wind and letting Joe sling the pill all over the place, as he likes to say. I think that's a recipe for disaster. In order for them to be successful, Nestor, they have to run the ball, as you mentioned, getting 100, 125, 150 yards on the ground. That'll go a long way towards securing a victory for this team, not just against the Bengals, but that's got to be the recipe for the whole season. And hopefully Greg Roman, that will allow him to infuse his DNA on this offense, and hopefully we'll see his fingerprints all over it this Sunday. That will make myself and Ravens Nation very happy if we can see a commitment to the running game, at least 50% of the time, but don't run the ball 25% of the time. Give up on it and make yourself one-dimensional.
He is Dennis Kalatzis. You can find him at the SSV on WNST. Defensively, week after week, and we need to see them go out and prove this, right? And you've pointed out the Bengals are missing several of their key players as well, which is a real nice way for the Ravens to start here. But it's going to get ferocious by the end of the month with Pittsburgh. But these first 3 games, the defense should shine, right? I mean, I don't know how the Bengals are going to throw the ball around. They've got a lot of moving parts going on. Yeah. They have a quarterback that's considered, healthy at the very least, and they have some offensive line in flux. But I do think that over the first month, this defense is going to really fare well against the likes of the Browns here. Probably really fare well against the likes of the Jaguars over in London. We might not learn or might not see it get fully tested until we see Pittsburgh in here at the beginning of next month. But this is as high a test for the defense, and I think all of us want to put our chin straps on and watch this team get off the field, 3 and out, maybe try to go take the ball away and begin a new era of some sort of intimidation for the defense that we had here for a long, long time when we wouldn't just talk about our defense. We would bitch about how bad our quarterbacks were, right? Because it really does work that way. You can't have a top 3 defense and a top 5 offense. I mean, the Patriots aren't even that kind of team, honestly.
No, it's very difficult. Last year, we lost 3 games that Jimmy Smith won out of when he got hurt. The good news is he's healthy. He's playing this Sunday. Brandon Carr is opposite of him. Marlon Humphrey looked very good against the Saints the other night, and also his matchup against John Ross, the 4-2-2 guy out of Washington State. He blanketed him last year in their game. Of course, he's playing in the slot for the Bengals. They match up real well against their offense. Front 7, solid, lights out. We'll see who plays next to C.J. Mosley. I don't think it matters that much. They'll be in a nickel or dime for most of the game. But it's a great matchup. It's a critical game, too, Nestor. I think this is one of those kind of swing games that could have a big, big impact on our season. Every game in the NFL is important. That's why we love it so much. But if they can come out of Cincinnati 1-0 versus 0-1, that could be a very good tone setter and have playoff ramifications this early in the season.
Dennis, for you with the Maclin-Flacco, the lack of chemistry that cannot exist. Now, I know Flacco's watched every practice. It's not like Flacco's been like watching stuff on Netflix here the last couple of weeks, right? It's not like Flacco has not been taking mental reps or understanding what's going on or understanding the concepts of the offense. For that, I am very heartened. But I am a little concerned about communication and timing because there's no way that can exist right now for Flacco.
Well, Joe's got a penchant for locking on to his favorite receiver. We see him time and time again hit number 88 over the last several seasons. Dennis Pitta, his safety blanket. He doesn't always go through his progressions. He still has trouble reading a defense. So I think if he makes up his mind pre-snap to go to Jeremy Maclin, that's exactly what he's going to do, whether the guy's open or not. I think that's something we can certainly keep an eye on. Same thing if Rashard Perryman gets in there and tries to run a 9 route or a slant. I think we can all see Joe throwing to these receivers no matter what the coverage, which, again, that's part of what drives me mad about him. He's got a big gun. He's a good guy, but he's not the most cerebral quarterback after. He just isn't. He doesn't have the instincts your top-end quarterbacks. So it wouldn't shock me if he throws. Remember the game years ago? He and Torrey Smith hooked up for like 3 long TDs against the Rams.
Early in the season.
Yeah.
And Torrey Smith was a real coming out part. It changed his career that game, literally.
It was. But again, he determined pre-snap this is who we're going to go to, and Torrey ran as fast as he could.
The Tampa game was like that too. Remember we threw those 5 touchdown passes early in the game down at Tampa. There was nobody
Tampa
there.
That Tampa game. I mean, it was like playing 11 on 5. They just couldn't cover, and Campanera had a nice touchdown in the end zone, all 5'9" of him. But that was a game where everything broke right. I think Joe needs a good running game. I think most quarterbacks in the league, with the exception of a couple, need a strong running game. So if they can help him, save him from himself, he can be effective. But it wouldn't shock me if he locks on to any receiver and has a couple touchdowns this game.
Dennis, for you with the special teams and that being such a big part of this thing, that is always something. But I know Luke was writing about it out at WNST.net over the weekend. We talk about Cook and Tucker. Not a lot of places have this kind of stability, and it really does speak volumes. And I know it always pisses John off when you call him a special teams coach, right? Even though he was forever, because it just burrs him up a little bit. But it really does stand the test of time, the 10 years into this. The Ravens do have, if not the best special teams among the best, that this organization has taken that part of the game. And I go back to Matt Stover and Kyle Richardson, and you could go through the kind of stability. Zastudil, we've always had really, really good special teams around here. We don't say that much. We don't talk about it. But I bet if they win this game on Sunday, we'll be talking on Monday next week, Dennis, about field goals, punt, field position, taking the ball away, a return, popping a ball loose, blocking a punt. Something like that will happen to win this kind of a game on the road on Sunday.
Yeah, the biggest special teams concern, Nestor, is punt returner and kick returner. Michael Campanaro is a punt returner, and of course, the biggest concern with him is his health. Can he stay healthy? His backup is Ladarius Webb, another fellow we'd like to keep healthy and around for a long time. Kick returner is Chris Moore with Campanaro as his backup, so that's something to keep an eye on. If these punt returners, kick returners can make a difference, can they secure the ball? Can they make positive gains out of it? Can they make good decisions in terms of fair catching the ball or letting it go? Hopefully it'll trickle into the end zone. So I think that's going to be a big part of this matchup. Pac-Man Jones, he certainly was a tremendous returner, and by him being out, it certainly plays into the Ravens' favor right now. They've got Alex Erickson doing both duties there, and they don't have much behind him. Tyler Boyd, who's a receiver, and Joe Mixon, who's a rookie. The kicking game, special teams, a wonderful point that you made. A third of what they do, and John should be happy about people giving them credit for being a special teams coach. Look, I was a long-time used car manager. That's where I cut my teeth at. That's what made me what I am today, and it affected my career as general manager. So I think whether you come from special teams or the offensive side or defensive side of the ball, I mean, look, for years we saw Coach Billick had the greatest, one of the greatest defense of all times, and same thing with Marvin Lewis. He had a great offense, so they flip-flop. In fact, Ryan has always made fun of that, right? How ironic is that? It doesn't always play to their strengths. It plays to what the front office wants to do, the team's DNA, the existing players and whatnot. But look, I think it's wonderful that we have a lights-out kicking squad and also coverage teams with Rosberg. He's always done a great job.
Well, and I just think that that goes unsaid about the Ravens, that it's not an accident that they have such great special teams, and certainly their leader takes that part of the game very, very seriously. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Dennis Galatzis is out of Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. He'll be here on Thursday with 2 full hours of pre-gaming, as they say, not just for the Patriots on Thursday night, but also for the Bengals and the Ravens on Sunday. Any global observations you want to make about the NFL before we get going with the season? We all expect the Patriots to win, but even they had the Edelman thing going on, and the best team in football has major questions. The Falcons have to respond to the Super Bowl. A lot of these matchups this weekend are very, very difficult matchups for teams that are allegedly beginning the year with incredible optimism. We'll see how far that optimism goes once, as Mike Tyson says, you get punched in the mouth, right?
Yeah, lots of stuff. I don't know, Nestor. For me, it doesn't feel like past seasons. It seems a little off, and I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if it's because you got Zeke Elliott and that mess down there in Dallas. Is he going to be suspended? Is he not going to be suspended? You've got guys holding out. You got the big guy up for the Rams holding out the defensive tackle. His name escapes me right now, but there's a lot of uncertainty on a lot of teams. You got the big tackle for the Texans. He's holding out Brown. You got Su'a Cravens for the Redskins, a young guy, 22, 23, talking about retiring because of concussions. You've got announcers resigning because of concussions. They can't cover the NFL anymore. To me, there's an undercurrent. There's still the Kaepernick thing is kind of fading away, but it's still there.
Yeah, I got a Kaepernick comment on my thread this morning. By the way, it was Aaron Donald, the big defensive tackle. Yeah,
Aaron Donald. There you go. That's what I was thinking of. But I mean, there's just, to me, there's a lot of moving parts. The league just feels different to me, and I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older. I'm having a different look at it. Still very excited, but no, where normally I'm a level 10 excited, I'm about a 9 right now. Hopefully that'll change as the season goes on. But it just doesn't feel right. Something just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, Oakland and Tennessee are playing each other this weekend. Both of them have high expectation. Someone's going to lose, right? I mean, the Giants are playing Dallas. Someone's going to lose. Seattle's playing Green Bay. Someone's going to lose. So, I mean, there are going to be a lot of hurt feelings. There's going to be some 0-1s on Monday. I know John Harbaugh and the group out in Owings Mills, they don't want to be that team. And certainly, if you're Marvin, you don't want to lose the division to start the season. So there is no, much like the Terps going to Texas and playing and having Towson this week, there's no Towson on the schedule until next week. Then Cleveland comes in.
College football is fun. I'm glad you mentioned Towson. Towson beat Morgan 10-0 over the weekend. The Terps, 2 blocked field goals for touchdowns in that game against
Special
Texas.
teams, there you go, right?
Special teams, one apiece, and both were momentum-changing plays. But speaking of special teams, the Raiders, Sebastian Janikowski, they take him down to the wire. 17-year veteran, and they told him he's going to take a pay cut, so puts him in a very bad position. They're kind of rolling the dice. I don't know if I'm the Raiders, if I would have messed with my kicker at that point to save a couple $1 million, and not with Super Bowl aspiration. The guy's been lights out his entire career. I don't know who they're looking at besides him.
Man, how many coaches has he survived there? Like 6, 7?
A ton.
It's incredible, right?
But I think that speaks to me of a bad organization making a bad move. Not good DNA. It doesn't send a good message to the rest of the veterans. Look, we're going to take you down to the final preseason game, and right before we kick off, we're going to try to give the guy a haircut, in terms of his pay. I don't like that at all. I think it just sends a bad message to the team.
He is Dennis Galazis. What's going on at Coons Ford? Give me a little update here. I know it's post-Labor Day, and the kids are back in school, as Jimmy Buffett once sang, and here we go, right?
Yep, just like we had Labor Day savings, now we have post-Labor Day savings. It never ends. The greatest thing about Labor Day, Nestor, we sell a ton of new vehicles, so that means we trade a ton of pre-loved vehicles. And now with the hurricane down in Texas swelling up about 1 million vehicles, it's going to make used cars hard to come by, premium used cars. So I urge everyone out there who's in the market, don't put it off. If you're going to buy a late model used car, now's the time to do it before they dry up and the price goes up on them due to demand because of what's happened down in Texas.
Hey, man, you know all, and I know you'll be watching a lot of football here this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to see you on Thursday with the SSV on WNST. He is Dennis Galazis. You can reach him at SSV on WNST, out on Twitter, or anytime at Coons Ford of Security Boulevard, where they sponsor our WNST tech service. It is our breaking news piece. It's there for you 24 hours a day. Anytime things happen, you get it first. Guaranteed. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. And don't forget, if you're over in London, going to Wembley on Saturday, we're throwing a big party over in the Docklands East area, right off the tube. We're going to be taking the Emirates Air cable car across the River Thames to the O2 Arena. It's going to be a lovely afternoon on the 23rd. We hope to see you in jolly old England. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.